Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning. It's June 28th. I'm Joe Callahan. And across the table from me, dropping her phone, is Melissa Smith.
I never go for Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I wasn't prepared. I was going to check the phone across the table.
Now, we put in the air conditioner just for you.
It's going to give the,
Well, actually,
the
we did it for
listeners the
everybody
impression
else.
that I'm an air conditioning snob. But this humidity, everyone, females out there can attest. It's a
Killing
little
you.
rough this early with this much humidity, and the hair gets real big.
Frizzy. All right. We have that problem, too, don't we, Tim Draper?
Oh, absolutely. Just look at my hair. It's a mess.
It's all over the place.
It's also gray and long. So.
All right. It is time for a first message, Melissa, from
Great.
the St. Antoine communities, please.
Right. So for those of you that don't know a lot about us, we are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield and on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skill care. We have the state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skill care facility. So if you are presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'll help walk you through your options. You can call me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right, to start things off this morning, I mean, this is a real stop the presses kind of thing. Ready? I don't know if you heard, but the new host of Wheel of Fortune, Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought that was a joke when I first heard it yesterday. I'm like, nah,
It's
he's
not really
doing that.
getting favorable reactions
No,
on
I-
social media.
It's only, well,
getting
he
killed.
just does everything. Couldn't
He does
they have gone
everything.
with anybody else.
Right.
Just to be
It's like
different.
Steve Harvey. Everybody, he's all over
Yeah,
the
he's
place,
all
too.
over the place,
I
too.
like a
You're right.
wild card moment, like Jeopardy, right? The chick from Blossom,
Oh,
Mayim
yeah,
Belly.
Mayim
Bialik, yeah.
Thank you. That was sort of
Oh, yeah.
unexpected, and then
Let's
sort
have
of
a
fell right
rotating
in.
and
You
see
know?
what happens.
And,
See who
and
we
this
like the
was
best.
sort of like, oh, you're going with the obvious, like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
he just
Right.
finished up Kelly and Ryan and Kelly, whatever it was
Right.
called, and I don't know.
He doesn't do that anymore?
No, and I wonder
Oh,
if
I
that
wonder
actually
why.
was part of the plan, if he was departing from that, knowing he was gonna.
All right.
But then again,
But don't
how
they-
hard is it to?
I mean, they
Manage
tape
Wheel
the
of
shows
Fortune.
all in like 2 days, right? They go in and
I
they
know.
do like 5
I do
shows.
5
or-
in one
It
day.
is a
yeah.
great gig.
Yeah, I want that gig.
It's
Great
pretty
gig.
easy.
Show, just change my clothes between tapings and you're done.
Remember when it used to be, okay, you've won $800, so let's go over, and they bought stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
They don't do
Right,
that
they
anymore.
don't do that
No,
anymore.
Not at all. You just
Very
got
easy peasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, is Vanna staying? What's the deal?
I
here
was
with her?
wondering that. I thought the same thing. I
Because
mean,
why not give
They've
her
been,
the
they've been,
host
they actually
job?
had during the Celebrity Jeopardy. I can't believe I know this. Between the celebrity at the Celebrity Wheel of Fortunes the past few nights over the past month or so, they've had Pat Sajak's daughter,
Oh,
who's
okay.
been the letter turner instead of Vince. She looks actually
again,
a lot like Vince.
again, very difficult skill
Right.
set to be that
Well, they don't-
letter.
right.
They're not even attorney
She's
the
had
letter anymore.
47
They touch
words
it.
in-
They touch it.
They
That's,
touch it.
40 in 4 decades. She's spoken 14 words. That's
Oh.
it.
Well,
She's
I-
turned
you
a bunch
know,
of them, but she's only
So
spoken
this
them.
was. I just feel like you keep going to the same overexposed, very wealthy people
I know, it just
options.
makes more and
Find
more
some
money.
average Joe and give them an opportunity of a lifetime. How neat would that be for someone? You
There's
know,
gotta be somebody out there with some
discoverable talent out
you know,
there.
I always like they went with Drew Carey for the prices, right?
did.
I like they went with Wayne Brady for
Right.
Let's Make a Deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Although I wish those guys were still doing Whose Line Is That Anyway? 'Cause
Yeah, 'cause
that
that
was one of
is-
the funniest
That
funniest
was
shows
one of the
there.
funniest shows. I have to agree.
I watch clips of that now
Oh,
and just
man.
laugh. And
The
still
talent
laugh
on
and
that
laugh
group.
and laugh.
I can't think of the woman's name who's the hostess now.
Aisha Tyler.
Aisha- yeah,
I
okay.
don't find
she
her
was
funny.
Mother Nature on the Santa Claus movies.
Yeah.
I'm
Was
like,
she?
oh, wait, yeah. I'm looking at it going, why do I know her? And then one day it clicked. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
who
I don't
that
know what it is about her. I don't find her funny.
No?
And I've seen her, and she's been in Friends and a
No.
few other
Yeah,
shows. I don't find
yeah.
her that
If you
funny.
ever get the chance, and they came to the Stadium Theater 2 years ago, maybe, Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, funny.
Doing the whole thing improv. It was
Yeah,
hysterical.
they are really
Okay.
good. We saw
It
them
is
at
just-
P-PAC once.
I saw them at the PPAC too, and I told people this was the final thing they did, and they look at you like, "How is that funny?"
Yeah.
But they were blindfolded. They had a rope by the end of the stage so they wouldn't fall off. They got barefooted, and then there were like 100 mouse traps set on the ground, and they had to walk around and keep doing the improv. It was hysterical. Laugh out loud, fall on the floor, crying, laughing. It was so funny.
All right, I'm in.
It was just outrageously
in.
funny.
Oh yeah,
And people go,
good.
I don't see the humor in it. But to see what they had to like say a sentence, and whatever
Yep.
the sentence ended in, they had to start the next sentence
Yep.
with a
To
letter.
finish- yep.
And keep going and tell a story.
Yeah.
And they were able to do it while walking around, and these things are snapping on their toes. And this is
They actually have
Ooh.
improv classes. In
Yeah, they do.
Providence.
Do they?
I actually sort of tossed that thought around in my mind to go
Wouldn't
try
that be like a fun team building exercise
I think
too?
so. I think it would be fun. I would. That's gonna take some more time than
There's
this one.
little more
one
think on
up
that
in
one.
Boston area that the same thing, but it was for kids. We did it for
Yeah.
my nieces and nephews a few years back. We stopped doing gifts. We started doing experiences. So it was one of the things that we decided to do with all the kids. Let's bring them up and do this impromptu thing. Actually, it was pretty funny, and it was similar. Like they had the kids all up on the stage, and they were teaching them the art of finishing a sentence.
yeah.
Right.
And acting, out of character, and yeah, it was kind of.
keep
It was
moving
neat, but I
on.
feel like for a company like
It's
Navigant,
tough.
it would be
Yeah.
a really neat
It
team building
probably-
exercise.
I thought that was like a more than like a one time, like it was a class that you would take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing that I'm referring to is actually a class. It's like a
Oh,
8
like
or
you
9.
want to be a comedian.
Right. You want to learn how to do it right, and then they make you do it, and then you got to do it in front of an audience, and then you have
Oh
to.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this means Tim thinks he's funny.
But he is.
Funny enough.
really.
Funny enough to pursue a
Funny
career.
looking, I think is what my friends all say.
All right. On the sadder side of things, former New England Patriots quarterback Ryan Mallett passed away at the age
Wow.
of 35, drowned
Drowning.
in the Gulf of Mexico off the
Right.
coast of Florida. I'm like,
Get
Really
caught in a
sad.
riptide,
Really
basically.
young.
yeah,
Oh.
35, and I'm like, when did he play again? And he was back up to Brady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For a few years, and then he
Yep.
went off to Texas and
Yep.
and Baltimore before he had to call it a career.
Right.
And
he's a football coach, right? He's a head football coach now, I think, in high school or something.
Oh,
like
it makes
that.
sense
Yeah.
to do that. I'm like, wow.
That's sad
Yeah, I was
stuff.
surprised. At first, I'm like, oh, another one taken away with
Me too.
drugs. or
That's
Or
what
something.
that's what I thought.
bad,
concussion or
cynical,
something,
right?
you know?
And
Please
then he
no.
just
And
tried
I-
to caught in a
and I-
riptide.
oh, I said, oh, this is well, not worse, but it's just it's sadder.
Yeah, you wonder
Um,
if he was trying to fight the rip current, or whether he was doing what they say to do, which is kind of go
Oh, yeah.
along with it.
Probably fight it. I said, well, he went under and then just never came back up. And it's like, so that's a shame. Patriots put out a statement and
Yeah.
and like that, and the NFL put out a statement too. Wishing their condolences to the family and friends, and he's best friends with Will Middlebrooks,
Really?
former Boston Red
Yeah.
Sox star, now on Nesson, and they grew up together.
Really?
They were childhood friends, and they just went in two different paths, and they both made it professionally, which is amazing that they could do that. So, all right, moving on. And that's too bad that that happened. So, there's the old joke that yes, we have freedom of speech, right? But you cannot yell fire in a crowded movie house.
That is true.
You also cannot yell, "I have bombs"
On the plane.
inside. No, inside a crowded movie theater. And this happened in Providence at the Avon. You ever been to the movies at the Avon Theater?
Years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
couldn't even tell you.
So a group of people walked in, said we have bombs and guns,
Who would say that?
and then they ran out.
Who would say that?
A bunch of teenagers.
Well, they don't know who did
Come
it.
on.
And
There's no
there's
security
a
camera
hundred.
footage?
Well, there are. They're looking at it now.
All right.
And there were 100 people inside the theater to see whatever crazy movie they're showing, because they show crazy movies
Yeah.
down
Right.
there.
All
And now
independent.
they're out. And now I read where the owner shows up because he got a call, and he rushes down to his theater, and people are outside there crying. I mean, they took
Oh,
this
it's scary stuff.
really
Yeah.
seriously. Luckily, no one got hurt,
Yeah,
because that's just going to start a stampede.
You got to find out who that is, and there has to be some fairly harsh consequence to that. Is what
Yes, you. That's why you say you cannot yell fire in a
Right.
crowded
Right.
movie theater. You can yell movie in a crowded firehouse, as the old joke goes. But,
movie.
It's just sad.
but it's the same thing. You can't say, "Hey, we're taking the place. I don't know, hostage or whatever. We got guns and bombs,"
What is the world coming to?
and just to see what kind of reaction you're going to get.
Right.
So we run out and then we look back to see.
I'm afraid
let's look at the
like
chaos.
it's a somehow some social media challenge of some sort, like a TikTok challenge.
Well, I feel like people are on guard too, right? Like I was in Walmart in North Smithfield a couple days ago, and that, depending on the time of day that you go there, you can get some real interesting clientele in there. And there was my daughter coming out, and this is at like 5 o'clock at night, and someone was getting out of a car right in front of the store, and they had a ski mask on and a hoodie up over the head, and I'm like,
Are
Okay.
you robbing the place?
Right. And I'm like, okay, let's move quickly out to the parking lot, but you're just sort of like, what is the need? Right. Nothing happened, obviously. I kind of stayed hovering in the parking lot for a minute just out of curiosity. They have a lot of police presence up there anyways for just some strange behavior. But I just thought, like, in this day and age, like, okay, we're past the pandemic, so you can't really justify wearing like a ski mask up like that anymore.
Yeah.
And like, but even the hood over the head in 80-degree
Yeah,
weather,
yeah. This is, I'm drawing attention to myself,
It
or
is, or
maybe
you're
I do
scaring
have-
people, and it's just
and they
like
like to
not
do that,
needed.
and that's the way people in this world survive. They're attention seeking.
So you think maybe it's a TikTok thing?
Could
and
be.
this is funny because my daughter and her friends just did their first after school getting out trip to Six Flags,
Oh boy.
and they saw someone about their age, a guy. He's got his phone out and he's filming himself and he's yelling, "Save me, save me," like someone's abducting him.
Yep.
Well, security comes over and says, "Okay,
You're safe.
you're safe, but let's go."
Yeah.
And he actually said, "Are you throwing me out?" "Yes, we are."
Excellent.
And as
Ooh,
they're
I
throwing him
love
out,
it.
he's still filming himself saying, "Save me, save me." And my daughter said, "Yeah, he's going to put that up on TikTok later and see if he can get any views on it."
Ugh.
I'm like,
It's
boy,
so
you know,
sad. These thrill seekers. It's
Cry
a different
for
kind of
help.
thrill seeker.
It
It's
is.
it's
Cry for help is what it is.
attention, seeking attention, seeking. Yeah, there's. I don't know what it is.
Go to an improv class if you want attention.
you know,
Meet Tim there.
we
Think you're funny?
we used to ride our bikes fast down hills.
Right,
That was the
right.
thrill.
The thrill
Right.
was trying to you set up those wooden jumps that you
Ramps.
created and
Yes.
you
Yes,
jump
little-
your bike.
Yeah.
And then if you're really bold, you put like 2 or 3 guys at the end of the ramp underneath
Yes.
it, and then you try to jump down.
Jump over them.
Okay, how about on a swing set, right? Like pumping your legs and being
and
the
then
person who
jump
could
off.
jump the furthest.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yes.
And no one filmed you doing
These are
that.
very easy things to do, people.
And they were entertaining at the time.
And entertaining.
There was a joke I saw going around Facebook that said, "I'm so glad I grew up in the 70s where I did a bunch of stupid things and there's no record of it."
I say
That
that
is
the same
very
in
true.
college years even. I thought
Oh,
the same
yeah.
thing to myself because that not too long after, right? Like 10, 15 years later, these phones came out. Well, for me
Right.
anyways. I
Yeah.
know I'm a little on the younger
Maybe
side.
20 years for us.
But it's crazy. It's all that stuff that people do today. It's all permanently. Actually, there was just a commercial for Apple, and I thought it was very genius. You know how they have the Heart app on the phone?
Yeah.
To like look up medical conditions
the
or
health,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, the advertisement, I'll give you the bullets, more or less was letting you know that when every time you look up if you're a hypochondriac like myself, every ache, every pain, my big toe hurts or my right ear hurts or I've got post-nasal drip, whatever. Everything's recorded and you're actually spreading information into the world for them to track like your demographics and everything,
Right.
all your different ailments, and that's how they feed you all the advertisements that you get. So it just fuels your medical condition. Anyways, they were basically advertising filter all of your medical concerns through that app because
Yeah,
we're going to
it'd be
protect your
private.
information. And I thought, well, it's such a simple thing,
We're
right?
gonna have to
That
try
is
that.
that is a good TV spot
Right.
with the woman with the voiceover saying, "And Janet's only done 85 steps today. I rode my bicycle here."
So you've seen it. You
Yes.
know what I'm
I
talking
said
about.
I go, that one's clever.
But then the rest of like
Starts off
you.
with the guy with the giant hemorrhoid.
That's right. Yes.
That's how it
Like,
starts.
how do they know this?
That's
I
a
know.
clever marketing
I
department.
said, oh, that
But you're just
that
like,
was
I mean,
pretty
everything
clever.
you're looking up otherwise is prompting all of the ads that you
So
see
do
in
you-
social media.
So do you look up a condition when you open up the app and then look up a
I guess
condition?
so. I'm
every
going
night?
to try it. I
Right.
just saw the commercial for the first time this morning, and I
really?
was like, yeah, I
Oh,
found
it's-
it.
I've-
I wonder if I deleted
I've seen it
that
for a
app.
few times. It's pretty
didn't.
funny. And the woman holding it up to her face. Hey, I can't see you. Nah, you're no fun. I want to know what
Right.
your conditions are.
Right.
Oh, see, you do have to put in your health details.
Oh,
They
I'm
build
sure
a
you
profile
do.
for you,
Well,
and
I
then you
have
can
a
search
profile.
conditions.
Yeah. Well, that makes
Interesting,
sense.
though.
Anytime a app tells me to enter my weight, I turn it off. I turn it off.
Anytime it asks me how many drinks I had in a day, I'm like, oh,
We all
that's
know
so
you
bad.
roll that down.
That's right.
Melissa, you can always lie.
I feel like
She's-
they're going
have
to
you
know
met
that.
Melissa?
I can't lie about that
lie.
stuff.
You're Come on, Joe.
But you're putting in you're not speaking. You're
That's
just
the
putting-
old Catholic in me. It's like
right.
some bigger problem is going to happen.
That's right.
Lightning's going
Well,
to
don't you hate it when the,
hit my house.
the doctor asks you, well, do you drink? Well, yes. What if you say yes? Well, geez, what are you, 5 drinks a day? No,
How
once
many-
a month.
There's so much
How
judgment.
many drinks do you? How many drink alcoholic beverages do you have a day?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't have any during the week, but on the weekends I'm making up for the weekdays. So how do you answer that question?
Well, I answer, I go, well, once a month. Then they just go, okay, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes
all right,
you want to
no.
flip the questions. Like, there's been times I've sat there with my doctor, and honestly, he doesn't look like a clean bill of health, and I feel like you're
What about
judging me
you?
for my weight and for how many drinks I'm having. How about you? What are you doing?
It's like,
You know?
that'd be like me being a personal trainer. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh my God, you'd be good in the comedy.
As you're sitting there
can't even
smoking
With
a
a
cigarette,
donut,
eating a donut.
donut and a glass
All right,
of
10 more.
donut and the
that'd
pale
be-
ale.
that'd
Come on,
be
let's
funny.
go another
Oh my God.
All right.
go around.
We're going to take a break here on the Coffee AM program, so it's time for a second message from the St.
geez
Antoine
Louise,
community. So,
I'm not ready.
Melissa, it's back to you, please.
All right.
She'll get it organized.
I know. Well, let me just start by saying quickly that I feel like last week, as I was leaving you, we were preparing for the longest day. Was that the 21st? Was
21st,
Wednesday?
yeah.
Right.
21st,
Purple
yeah.
pinwheels were sold, etc. We did make our goal. We sold over 1,000 purple pinwheels.
Fantastic.
The event was beautiful. I encourage you to jump on our Facebook
Did you get
page and
pictures?
take a
You got
look.
pictures?
Yeah, I posted it on the St. Antoine community page. And it just was a beautiful day. We got lucky with the weather, of course, but it was nice to see a lot of former caregivers and family and friends of the community who've lost loved ones to Alzheimer's come out and just be a part of it. See staff members they hadn't seen in a while. It was a very healing day, I think, for a lot of people. And then for myself, I had my daughter, child labor, come out and put all the pinwheels out for me. And
Free child labor.
it was just very touching to see her reaction as a 13-year-old kid going very slow because she was reading all the pinwheels that she was putting out. And
Go faster.
and that was really touching when we were cleaning them up after. I looked at them a little more closely too, and I think that it ended up being a very simple exercise, but a very healing exercise for a lot of people that participated. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I finally finished our Save the Date Summer Events calendar. I'll be posting it on St. Antoine Community's Facebook page in a little bit, probably as soon as I leave here. But I just wanted to rattle off a few important dates because we've gotten a lot of phone calls about our summer concert series, and we've dragged our feet a little bit because we were shaking things up a bit. But we do have 2 dates for you to put in your calendar for right now. One of them is July 13th. And the other is August 10th. So we have Illusions coming out in retrospect, both very popular bands, bring a large crowd and a lot of energy with them wherever they go. So those concerts will be at 6 o'clock at the Courtyard Villa, 400 Mendon Road, North Smithfield. And the other events, just take a peek at our page and see if you're interested in joining us, and more information to come over the next few weeks. But that's it. So if you have any questions, give me a call, 401-767-3500.
All right, Melissa, thanks. And we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming up. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
A message from the Carew Investment Group, 68 Cumberland Street, at the corner of Clinton and Cumberland Streets here in Woonsocket. The Carew Investment Group offers you personal management of investment accounts. Depending on what you're looking for, whether it be to enhance your current income, a 401k rollover, or retirement income, we'll put together a plan for you. We focus on using quality dividend-paying stocks of companies that you know, investment quality bonds, exchange-traded funds, and use the advantages offered by IRAs. You can contact Paul or Ed at the Carew Investment Group anytime for a free no-obligation portfolio review at 765-8880. Our office is at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket, and our telephone number again is 765-8880. You can also email Ed at ed@carewinvestmentgroup.com or visit the website at www.carewinvestmentgroup.com. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
This Friday night at the Levitt Amp Woonsocket free concert at River Island Art Park, we open with Rhode Island singer-songwriter Josh Kerwin.
Yes, she was an American girl, raised on promises.
Then our headliners, the Rhode Island legend, 50 years in the making, Steve Smith and the Naked Truth.
Hang on, hold tight, we're gonna make our move tonight.
Live music, food trucks, on-site bar, kids activities, and activities for everyone with the dynamic Jerry from Jerry's Bluffing Boutique. If you can't come this week, the concerts will be broadcast live over the air on ONAM and FM stereo radio and streamed live at woonsocketradio.com or watch in your home on your smart TV via the ON Worldwide channel on YouTube. Our broadcast is sponsored in part by Rhode Island State Senator Roger Pickard, Woonsocket Woonsocket City Council Vice President Valerie Gonzalez, Woonsocket School Committee Chair Paul Bourget, and Woonsocket City Councilman Brian Thompson.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
On Owen Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper, and Melissa Smith is here as well. And boy, we can all relax a little more because the General Assembly is taking care of this. A newly passed law has now settled the constitutional issue of shoreline access in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yes, we had to form a commission back in 2021
To
had to
create an
study the
agenda.
question of how to more clarify or more clearly define access. So the new law establishes that the public area of the shoreline ends and the private property begins at 10 feet landward of the recognizable high tide line.
So where the seaweed is.
Did you just say
10 feet beyond that.
2021 and we're in 2020? So this took 2 years to
to
determine
figure this
10
out.
feet.
So make sure you bring your tape measure
Right.
to,
Okay.
to the beach,
Yeah.
so you know where the public
Two-
land
Well,
is.
my feet are 12.
and
2
where the,
years of discussing
of
10
where,
feet
where,
from the high
where
tide
the
line.
property line ends and where the
Then there's
public line
debate. There's
begins.
the debate is, well, where's the discernible high tide line? We got to make sure you know that. So
That's
is it where
right.
the
That took a
seaweed
whole
is,
extra year then.
or is
You're
it
right.
where the Oh
Yeah.
my God, we have nothing to worry about except that.
Yeah.
And you know, people that own the houses at the beach, they're just going to argue it. That's
Right.
not the high tide line. It's over there.
That's right.
This is my land. Get out.
That's right. Except you
Maybe
have a
the
house
commission wasn't just charged with this one task. This commission must have been charged
I
with
don't
that. The other law they just passed recently about not drinking at beaches. Like, there's a couple things that came out recently. Tell me this
Yeah.
wasn't their only
Doesn't say.
assignment.
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Where's Melissa Smith? Get her in here.
Oh,
Let's find that out right
goodness.
now.
Let's just streamline all these
Melissa.
ideas. One committee, 2 years, bang them out.
All right. They're still looking for that guy in Gloucester that is a suspect in multiple vehicle thefts and break-ins out that way.
Oh.
Yeah. They've seen him, but he runs off into the woods and then they can't find him. He's described as a white man with tattoos on his right arm. Well, that narrows it down, doesn't it? And he was last seen breaking and entering in a car on Old Snake Hill Road.
You know what's going to happen to that guy? It's in Burrville, right?
He's going to get
Gloucester,
eaten by a
okay.
bear.
No, he's going to get shot by somebody.
He will.
And then the homeowner's going to be in trouble for
Yeah.
protecting their private property
Right.
in the state of Rhode Island, which is just
They think he's using a stolen blue ATV and hiding somewhere in the woods, and it gets pretty thick out that
It
way.
does get
So, residents are asked to check their home surveillance video and advised to keep their vehicles and houses locked.
Why are people stupid? Don't we land on this topic every time we are on the air together?
almost
To
Stupid people.
stupid people. The
to
Dharma
lock your
Awards.
cars and lock your
Just
homes.
it's all that unsettling stuff. Like, in general, you don't even have to live close to there. And now you're thinking, oh,
Well, here's
what if
not
that
uns-
happened to me? And
Do you have the story in there about the senator that keyed the car?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. The
Okay,
guy
just-
from Cranston.
Yeah.
Has that been a definite? Because we had, we heard earlier that he keyed a car, or he says he was trying to remove bumper stickers from the car.
I think the key. I think he keyed the car. They had a
I think he
picture
keyed
of
the car,
key
too.
of,
Okay.
of the scratch, and then he admitted it.
He admitted the keying.
Well, he admitted to the police that he did it because
Yeah.
they had their body cam
Yeah.
footage of them going to his house.
I'm hearing he didn't like the bumper sticker.
Yeah,
it was
a Trump
derogatory
bumper
things
sticker.
against
derogatory
Biden.
against Biden, one or the other.
Biden
Yeah, yeah.
inhales
Yeah.
deeply,
But
kind of thing. So
This is the problem with a lot of people in the world who just
You don't get-
can't handle somebody else's contrarian opinion.
yeah,
This is this is the problem. People are
s-
going to have different opinions. You've
Yeah.
got to be accepting
do.
of all of them.
yep, you do.
And you can't. Your solution can't be, well, I'm going to key the car, or I'm going to go punch somebody in the face, or I'm going to
Yeah.
go bully them. That doesn't count. You can't do that. I'm going to have a different opinion than somebody else, and
Yep.
And just
my
because you're
opinion is
expressing
no less valuable than that person's
Yeah.
opinion.
No, see, you're wrong there. In today's society,
Yeah.
if I don't
Right.
agree with your opinion, you're wrong.
Right. And that's it. You know, Joe,
I'm
you're
right,
right.
and
Right.
I know better.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
'cause
That's the
I'm-
problem, and
'cause
that's
I'm
the
me.
problem.
That is the problem.
That's the problem.
This goes back to people are just more angry than they've ever been. People just have short fuses. They're not able to even think through. Like, you're very nicely explaining how to weigh both sides of the story, evaluate both scenarios, be sensitive and compassionate to both sides, and respectful.
Right.
People don't do that. They don't even stop to think it through anymore. They just react.
They're impulsive and emotional, and they do
Yes.
dumb things, and then they don't think there's consequences. Why?
Don't be
Because
dumb.
we don't hold them accountable. That's
right.
why.
It's
See,
true.
this is where being a sports fan is good. So growing up, always a big Boston Red Sox fan, but I knew there was this whole group of people in New England and down in New York. They like the Yankees.
Right.
Okay, that's your team. This is my team, and I get it. You don't like us, and we don't like you.
Right.
Fine.
I have a very good friend who we bust each other's chops
It's
all the time.
friendly.
That's
He's a
right.
Yankee loving SOB, and I'm
there you
a
go.
Red
Did
Sox
you just see?
dirty.
I don't even like baseball, but there was just a really funny night. When was this? A couple days ago, I guess. It was David Ortiz and Jeter were doing some commentary. Did you see
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And
I
didn't,
Ortiz
but I-
gave Jeter a Red Sox jersey with Jeter's name on it,
Oh, that's
and he
Yeah.
threw the jersey. It
Back
was
at him.
great. It's
Yeah.
like this is friendly rivalry stuff,
Right.
and that's how sports should be approached.
And it's
People
funny,
get too serious.
In most cases, all the members of the different teams
Mm-hmm.
really have great respect for each other because they know how hard it is to play that sport, the individual sports. It's the fans that are rabid and
Oh,
can't,
yes.
are vehemently disdain the other team and their fans and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and it's funny when those guys get together after their careers are over and they're drinking. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to have
Yeah.
good time to showing up at events together,
Yes.
like you said. And
Now, have you ever seen the movie Fever Pitch?
Yes.
I have, but
Okay, they actually cover that. So the Red Sox lose. The three main, it's Jimmy Fallon
Yep,
and his
and-
friends are at the
and-
bar
right.
drinking because the Red Sox have lost, and they actually look over and there's Jason Varitek and Trot Nixon and somebody else having dinner.
Yep.
Johnny Damon.
Yeah.
He goes, "How can they be sitting there having dinner
Right, like
and,
he's more upset."
and laughing? We're over here eating our hearts out." And they finally realize, it is just a game.
yeah, it is just a game.
They tried. They went out there. They tried their best. They lost.
Right.
We'll try again tomorrow.
Right.
You know who doesn't understand that? Parents of of junior sports
you're right,
players,
yeah.
athletes. The parents don't
Yes.
understand that.
Because my little darling is going to make it to the bigs. and
Oh, you're going to
you're
all the
holding,
way.
You're holding them
And
back,
it's so,
you know.
I mean, I shared my daughter just lost the state playoffs for lacrosse, but it's like the game ended and I was over it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Even my kid was over it. Parents from
Never
my
get
town
over it.
were not over it. And I'm like, this is just sad, guys. Like,
Right.
I'm leaving here and we're going to go have a nice afternoon together as a family. I'm pumped. I got the rest of the day ahead of
guys
me.
need
I'm,
to relax.
they just get so hyped up
I
unnecessarily.
heard this. It happened a couple of weeks ago. Cumberland High won in boys baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It happened down at Rhode Island College. They beat LaSalle
LaSalle,
3
yeah.
games to 2. What I found out afterwards, after Cumberland won, they were the LaSalle parents, and they're yelling at the LaSalle coach.
Yeah.
It's your fault we lost.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
yeah,
LaSalle
not-
parents are not nice
like,
parents.
Not your kids
Wow.
didn't play
Sorry
well.
if I offended anybody. And
Right. Your
Yeah.
kids didn't play well.
Didn't
Get
play
over
well
it.
enough.
Right.
You know?
Enough. They got there.
They
Good for
got
them.
there.
That's an accomplishment.
It was actually a very good game. Cumberland got their 2 runs in the first inning, and then that was it.
That was it. That
And
pitcher
they won
was
2-1.
unbelievable.
That's like, so it was actually a very good game.
Right.
Well, LaSalle can't understand is they win championships like
All
when
the
at the blink
time.
of an eye.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Cumberland hasn't won one in 30 years.
30
Right.
years. So.
It's a huge deal for them, and for them to knock off Hendricken first, which is almost
Right.
again never
Oh,
heard
oh,
of.
that, yeah.
And then to beat
And
LaSalle
LaSalle.
I
and
know.
come back and come, really was a 1-game series, right? Because Cumberland won the first
Yeah, it
one,
was
LaSalle won
best
the
2 out of
second
3.
one,
Yep.
and then Cumberland won the third one. So,
There's
good
just
for Cumberland.
This is
They're gonna be in the
not
parade.
polite to say, but there's really an arrogance that surrounds, for some reason, a historic
Right.
arrogance that surrounds LaSalle, whether it's the kids or the parents. So
a
when you
dynasty.
do have a local public school win, yeah, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
you don't
always been-
recruit. You have what you have. You know.
There's been conversations over the years about doing a Catholic league where you take the LaSalles and the Hendrickens and those guys, you pull them out of the Rhode Island or Scholastic League.
Not enough teams.
Right. There's not enough. There's not. But you could go into Massachusetts.
I guess
could.
if
A
Bishop
whole bunch of-
Feehan.
Feehan and-
We spent a lot of time. I was on the advisory board at Feehan for a little while, and one of the hardest things to do is to find a conference
Yeah.
that will take you, because as a Catholic school in North Attleboro, Feehan had become dominant in a lot of sports: girls basketball, boys basketball. The football team had gotten better, soccer, softball. So they'd created sort of this, hey, it became a little bit
Intimidation.
like LaSalle's and the Hendrickens. They just kept winning and winning and winning. So when the conference kind of broke up that we were in because of various environmental conditions, we had to go out looking for a new conference, and nobody wanted us.
Wow.
We were the closest one we could get to was the Boston Catholic
Yeah.
sports conference, and then we would have had to take everybody up to
lot of
Boston
trips.
for every game. That's a
Yeah.
lot of buses to rent and all that other
Yep.
stuff. I think they finally settled into. There's like a Greater Attleboro, I think, or
Yeah.
Southeastern
It's the
Massachusetts
Hockomock
Conference.
League that they call it.
Yeah.
Are they not part of that?
I remember
No,
when
they're
that
not.
was being discussed, only because my brother-in-law is the principal at Malden Catholic, which is up
Right.
just north of Boston area, and he was a football coach at the time as well as the principal, and they were exploring the idea of that, and he's like, it's so far.
Yeah.
It'd be
It's
too
so far.
far, especially midweek game if you
Right.
some of the other sports.
Right.
Not
As
football,
it was,
but-
the swim team used to have to go to Martha's Vineyard.
yeah.
That was an so we'd take
That's a
Ben
day.
Ben would
It's
jump
a
on the
day.
bus and they go off and they would be gone at like 2 in the afternoon, catch the
Right.
ferry to Martha's Vineyard, swim.
Every day?
No.
all right.
On the when they had
The
their swim
meets.
meets.
Yeah, okay.
So it wasn't every day, but still, you didn't get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Just taking the
And as a
last
parent,
ferries out.
that's questionable because I remember my daughter did basketball last year and they played Block Island. So that's a winter sport. So
Yeah.
you're going out to Block Island not in the sunny temperatures of
On
Right.
the cold winter
It-
days.
and
Ferry.
the water is choppy, and a lot of the
Yeah.
kids got sick heading out there. So you've now missed an entire day of school just to go play a basketball game for
That you feel sick
45
at.
minutes an hour, and
Right.
they all arrived very not feeling good.
Ill.
Right.
Right. So, but it's
Alright.
thinking about those kids on those
I know.
islands. They always have to go back and forth.
Right.
Yeah, my son's hockey team had to play Martha's Vineyard. They came over here.
Yeah.
I said, well, how good can they be? They were great.
Great.
Oh, my God, these guys are good.
I know.
All right, we got to take a break here. Take a look at the forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 80 degrees and a south wind. A 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63. Thursday's weather, a 30% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, partial sunshine, and a high of 81. Friday, there's mostly sunny skies predicted with a high of 84 and a breeze from the south. Saturday, partial sunshine and 82. Sunday, showers are likely, 60% chance, mostly cloudy with a high of 78. Monday, a 40% chance of a shower, mostly cloudy and a high of 84. And next Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 86.
Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have cloudy skies with 74 degrees. Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate. Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for a first message from Navigant Credit Union.
You know, Joe, I know I talk a little bit about fraud and being careful about not getting scammed, and I'm going to share with you some statistics I read yesterday which blow my mind. It's from the FBI. And in 2022, which is the most recent year for their statistics, there were 88,262 victims over the age of 60 of fraud and losing money. $3.1 billion in total losses in that category.
That'll never get back, right?
Right, never get
Right.
back. It's an 84% increase over 2021.
Wow.
So in 2023, I will tell you folks, is on pace. The average loss per victim is $35,000. Wow. And the victims losing more than 100,000 of that 88 were 5,400 people lost over $100,000 in scams. So when I come on and I advise people to be very skeptical of the calls that they get, the 800 numbers that call them, text messages, emails, and phishing scams, and all other stuff. Honestly, we don't want to scare people straight, if you remember that old prison show,
sure.
right? But the reality is, people over the age of 60 are the target audience for fraudsters. Now, they're not the only audience, because I have another statistic that shows you that even young people get scammed.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's older individuals who are just nervous about this digital age, and they just everything is scary to them. So the hey, we have your grandchild in prison, and here he is, and it's an AI generated voice that says, say, okay, I'll take care of it. Hang up. Call your grandkid and make sure that they're okay, right? And you gotta be a little proactive in your and be mad about it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Be mad about it. And when we ask you questions when you come into the credit union and ask for a $20,000 check, if we're asking you some questions that seem to be like we're getting personal, it's because we're trying to protect you. We don't want you to fall victim to these scams. We don't want you to be part of the 88,000 people that got scammed last year. So if you want any information about the current scams that are out there, navigancecu.org is our website. We have a security page on our resources page, so you can find out all about the senior scams that are out there. Or you can give us a call, 233-4700, if you suspect something.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. And I actually saw this being done, the asking of the questions. And it was, because I'm in Massachusetts, doing some banking up there at another credit union. The person running the drive-through started off with, okay, now don't get mad, but I need to ask you these questions.
Yeah.
And it's for your protection.
Right.
And she went through a list of questions, asking why that person was withdrawing
Yep.
so much amount of money. And it wasn't a thing. She went, and I guess he got the money.
Yeah.
He needed it for whatever from what
And
I
he
could
thought
hear.
of you, and he thought of all the education that you've given him.
That's right.
You know what
That's
we
right.
say too often, obviously, working with elderly, we have direct experience with these scam artists, is don't answer the phone. Any number you don't
yeah.
recognize, let it go to voicemail.
Right.
And then you just have the ability to pre-screen everything through your phone.
If it's
That-
a scam, they're not going to leave a message.
But that generation
Yeah.
doesn't have that mindset.
Right.
Mindset,
Well,
the phone's ringing, I have to
they're
answer it.
getting
Someone's
there.
calling.
They're getting.
Are they?
It's starting
Oh,
to
good.
narrow in. It feels like, I've shared often, at least in our assisted living, we used to have landlines and all. Well, we
Yeah.
still have landline access in all the apartments, but it's no longer something we provide and pay for because everyone's coming in with cell phones.
Cell phone. Okay.
So when you have 95-year-olds moving in and they're like, oh, I don't need a landline. I've got my tablet. I got my cell phone. I got this. I got that. But it's
perfect.
it's that. I
Right.
feel like there's a little shift with technology and a little more filtering of letting things go through to voicemail.
I kid my mother. Now she just doesn't answer the phone.
Not just-
I'm like, well, Mom, you gotta if you recognize the
If
number.
it says Tim.
you can answer that
And
one.
that's what it is. That's why I program all of your contacts. So when the name comes
Right.
up, you know it's a legit family member. And
We'll
anything
visit-
else, just don't answer. Let it
That's
go.
right.
We'll go visit Mom tonight. And we'll make sure all that stuff's in order.
All right, good. All right, well, we could be seeing the end of an era. All right, and I don't know if you guys have done this. I have in the past, but duck pin bowling
Oh, I heard about
yeah.
that.
in Rhode Island. There's another
Yeah.
one closing.
Oh,
Max Bowlaway in West Warwick,
So duck pins are like the 10 pins, but shorter.
but shorter.
Right.
Yeah.
So candle pins are gone.
But candle pins still big in Massachusetts.
Really?
Yes.
Bowling for dollars.
it's all gonna come back.
Bob Gamere.
You
Like
think
let's
so?
just.
Bob
It's all
Gamere.
gonna come back. Everything comes back. Look at pickleball. Like.
Oh, that's
I thought that
you
was
know,
new.
No, pickleball. I think that's old. That's like a coming back, isn't
right.
it?
It's the
Maybe
fastest
I'm-
growing
maybe I'm
sport in
lying.
America right now amongst people who are getting scammed.
But it feels like everything
Well-
makes a comeback in some way. I mean, even tennis. Honestly, there was a
you guys
huge
need over
20
at
week.
St. Anne. You guys need a pickleball.
Pickleball.
court.
We've
court.
talked about that, but then the nurses get a little nervous about
Oh,
that.
put it in the assisted living
Someone's
area.
breaking a
We
hip.
don't need fall. We don't need extra fall. I know
Well-
that we'd advertise our rehab. Come play pickleball on our property.
We're creating our own demand.
I like that.
All
That's
right.
good.
Now the state of Rhode Island, we're now down to 3 certified duck pin bowling lanes.
Wow.
Now where are they? I don't know. Do they put it in here? No.
No.
Now I think there's one in Pawtucket. That's all, but it's like a bar, and it's only like 6
Oh, it's
lanes.
like the Lofts,
Oh,
right?
I
In
know
the
what it is.
Yeah.
It's in the
I'm not
it's
even
in
sure where it
the-
is.
Oh my gosh, on Main Street.
Is it?
What is that called?
Okay.
Hope Artiste Village.
Thank you.
Is it
Hope
okay?
Village.
All
I
right.
think it's in
and,
there.
And then there's 2 others, and I have no idea where
Yeah.
they were.
I think that one too is like a manual reset of
It
the
is.
pins.
I think
Yeah.
he made
they
those set
hire
the
people
pins.
to like set pins.
My dad did
Those are
that
the
as
good
a
old days.
kid in the 40s.
Really?
He was a pin boy. Yeah. Set up the 10 pins.
Then the man replaced him with a machine.
Yep. He used to get the tipped after every string. Here's a quarter
Ooh.
that they'd throw down the alley for you. Here you
Yeah.
go, kid. Anyway, so yeah, candlepin bowling might be going away. So,
Wow.
oh well, that's too bad. So, and CVS says that they're going to make improvements at their minute clinics that they have inside because the U.S. Attorney's Office got a complaint. It says a deaf person alleged the clinic failed to provide her with requested American Sign Language interpretation for her medical appointments.
Oh, interesting.
So, the Justice Department investigation also revealed on at least a half a dozen occasions, patients who called a number on the Minute Clinic website did not get the help they were seeking to obtain interpreter services.
You know what's interesting? And this is a legit question. I don't know the answer to it. So, when we were hosting, or when we host our emerging business leaders series in Central Falls, we always called it. There's actually an interpretation service that comes in, and they bring headsets and portable packs that people can have on in their heads when somebody's up speaking English. There's an interpreter that's interpreting everything so that they can understand. Now that was not something we had to do, but it's something that we wanted to do so that the audience would feel comfortable with what we're talking about. But for deaf folks, if somebody went into a CVS and said I needed to have hearing help,
Sign language,
right,
yeah.
sign language, does CVS have to call a sign language specialist to come in and provide the service, or is something written down that they have to read? Or it's interesting. I'm not quite sure what the accommodation is.
Unless there's a screen that comes up
Maybe.
where if you're speaking into it, it
Right.
types
A
out.
type-
so,
a type to
yeah, so they
text
can
type
read
deal,
out.
a dictation thing, sure.
So they don't have it right now. I guess.
Microsoft has it in Word. You can just dictate into Word.
Yeah.
Apple
so,
phone
so
has it.
they'll be looking into that. I guess
Yeah,
CVS
interesting.
to help out the deaf community.
So there may not be a difficult fix for that. That
No,
would
I
be
don't think so. So the negotiations are still going on. There's 1,400 workers at Encore Boston Harbor, the casino, going on strike.
Oh.
Now that's the most profitable, busiest casino in the state,
Yeah.
and we just can't shut down because these guys are going on strike. So the 2-year contract between the workers and Encore expired in April. Okay, it's June. It's almost July
Yeah.
without a contract. Unions have authorized a strike starting on Saturday.
Wow.
If their demands are not met, the unions allege that the workers at Encore are paid less than unionized employees at Boston hotels. Encore officials say they are disappointed by the strike date and hope to reach a positive outcome in today's negotiations.
They're disappointed with the strike date.
Yeah, that's
Haven't they
too
had
soon.
like 3 months to figure it out?
That's management for you, Tim.
I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, well, we got to say something.
Right. Yeah.
Can you put it to after July 4th? We got a big weekend coming, you know. This will be a lousy weekend to
Oh
go
my
on strike
God.
for July 4th weekend, really.
Yeah.
And then how does that work with going on strike? Like, so if the terms were discussed and they outlined what they want to make for wages, and this goes on for 3, 4, 5 months of negotiation, is there a retro
To go back.
date moment, or is
Usually,
it
yes.
from the time that the term is negotiated?
Yeah,
So that's the other thing. Because what's the incentive for them to hang on there
Yeah.
for 3, 4,
Well, then
5
it's
months of
usually to-
negotiations?
To go back to when
So there is
the
a
original
retro.
contract
And
ended.
and get back pay.
Yeah.
So that's also
Whatever that
it.
increase would have
That should
been.
be motivation for the flip side to be speeding up on this because they're not going to want to.
Right.
Absolutely.
One
Yeah.
would think.
All right, more coffee ads
So
coming
simple.
up. But we got to get a second message from Tim Draper over there at Navigant Credit Union.
Well, guys, I think you know what we're going to talk about next, and that's the new Embark account, which is not exactly new anymore, but it's an Embark. The account that's designed, it's a spend account, so it's not a checking account. I mean, on the back end, it's a checking account, but essentially, it's designed to be a responsible spend account for your youth. We're putting it out there to try and get people to learn how to save money as well as spend money responsibly, because we all know that teenagers and young folks, 13 to 22, are going to end up spending money. So let's teach them how to do it correctly. The account has a lot of great features: digital banking, mobile banking access. You can do mobile deposits. When you hit 18, you can actually use it to pay bills. So there's a number of great features to this account. And then, of course, we have a great line of financial education with our staff that you can use as well. Now, one of the features that the account comes with is a debit card. Now, Joe, why don't you tell us why a debit card would be good in having this account for a young person?
Because just a couple of days ago, my 17-year-old daughter and her 17-year-old friends, 4 of them, took a drive out to Six Flags out there in Agawam to go spend the day riding the rides out there. And when they got out there, that's when they find out Six Flags does not accept cash.
Cashless.
No cash to get in, no cash for food or drinks.
Right.
Now, they were very lucky that one of them actually had, well, an American Express card.
Right.
Is what they had that was linked to her father's account.
Yep.
So at American Express, there are no credit limits. So she ended up paying basically for everything. They pulled all that cash and gave it to her afterwards, but they didn't find that out till they got out there. So there's more and more places that are going to go that way.
Right.
We just don't take cash anymore, and you have to have a credit or a debit card to get in.
So just think of how helpful it would be to have that debit card.
Now the other
again,
3 didn't have one because of their age in Massachusetts.
in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
right? So just think for a second that as a parent, you go with your child to open up the Embark account. So you're on the account, which means that you have access to funds and to fund the account if necessary. So if your child, like your daughter, Joe, was stuck at Six Flags, she could have called you and said, Dad, everything is cashless. I don't have any money in my account.
Not enough, yeah.
Not enough in my account. You could just transfer money
some
into
in.
the account temporarily until she gets home, and then you just get that money back. But you would be able to transfer money into the account, and then she could be
It'll work.
active, right? Then she could use that account. She could use her iPhone, with the card in it, whatever it might be. It's that simple. But see how important that is. And to your point, Joe, yes, more and more businesses are going cashless.
Yep.
And if that's the case, your kid needs to be able to have access to money because they're going to be on their own someday.
Yes.
And 17 years old, they're going to go with their friends in high school. So you want to be able to have that. You want to be able to move that money around freely, and you can do that with the Embark account. So go see us at navigantcu.org. Look up our checking accounts. Look up the Embark account to get a little more information on it. Give us a call, or as always, stop into the branch at the 1280 Park Avenue.
All right, Tim, thanks. And more of the Coffee AM program coming your way. Stay tuned.
I'm Dr. Philip Chan from the Rhode Island Department of Health. Many Rhode Islanders have hepatitis C, but don't know it. Hep C often has no symptoms, but it can cause serious health problems if it's left untreated. The CDC now recommends that all adults get tested for hepatitis C. So talk to your doctor or get tested on your time by visiting testing123ri.com and get checked for Hep C today. Visit health.ri.gov/Hep C for more information.
Brought to you by the Rhode Island Department of Health and Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
This Friday night at the Levitt Amp Woonsocket free concert at River Island Art Park, we open with Rhode Island singer-songwriter Josh Kerwin.
Yes, she was an American girl, raised on promises.
Then our headliners, the Rhode Island legend, 50 years in the making, Steve Smith and the Naked Truth.
Hang on, hold tight, we're gonna make our move tonight.
Live music, food trucks, on-site bar, kids activities, and activities for everyone with the dynamic Jerry from Jerry's Bluffing Boutique. If you can't come this week, the concerts will be broadcast live over the air on ON, AM, and FM stereo radio and streamed live at woonsocketradio.com or watch in your home on your smart TV via the ON Worldwide channel on YouTube. The broadcast is sponsored in part by Buxton Hollow Farm in Woonsocket, PT Floors, Walls, and More, Fontaine Real Estate, Heavy Press Graphics, Landmark Medical Center, and State Senator Melissa Murray.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee In here on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And Tim, we got a message called in at 766-1240. Really deals for you. So to the panel and to Tim mostly, had my debit card account scammed 2 weeks ago. A new card has been issued, but these bandits continue to get away with this. This is a felony. And what can the FBI do about these scams?
Well, I think a lot of it, unfortunately, is what level of scam did it happen? If it's thousands of dollars, then I think the FBI will probably get involved pretty quick. But the first step you have to do if you think you've been scammed is contact us right away, and we'll block the card. Or, again, if you're using our mobile app, you have the access to block the card on your phone, which is pretty cool. But the reality is, if you've been scammed, come and see us. There's a form that you have to fill out. You'll likely have to go to your local police and file a police report. You're not liable for that money. The money should be going back into your account at some point. But more importantly, you're going to lock your debit card down. So what do you do in the meantime as you get a debit card? Now, I understand in this particular situation, we may have neglected to tell this person that you could go into the branch and get a new debit card right away, instantly, right? All of our branches are equipped with what we call instant issue, and so if you have a card that's scammed and you really need a debit card, you can go into one of the branches and they'll give you a replacement card. Or they'll order it for you. If you're doing it in the contact center, I understand what the contact center's doing. They're just ordering the card for someone. They'll get that card in the mail, and generally speaking, 5 to 7 business days. So they'll get the card in the mail, and everything will be great. But if you need it quicker, all the branches are equipped to give those debit cards. But the short answer is you're not liable for that money. You should be getting it back. We'll credit you back. You got to file a couple of reports, though, so it is a little bit of a pain in the neck. But it really won't affect your credit or anything like that. It's just more of a nuisance.
Okay. All right. Ready for the weird story there, Melissa? It's just bizarre.
Yes, she's totally.
I don't know why in the breaks we don't preview these things before.
Because Joe likes to spring.
I like the shock effect.
And by weird, so as long as they're not in the direction of, murder or disturbing, like drug offense. Like we have some real heavy stuff sometimes. So
this isn't that heavy.
just quirky, something light and quirky.
This is just bizarre. A fan, all right, attending a recent Pink concert. So it's not Taylor Swift.
I heard about this.
All
I
right.
know where you're going. It
concert-
is weird.
I don't know if you heard this, Tim. The Pink concert in London. The fan threw a bag of her mother's ashes on stage during Pink's performance,
literally
leaving the
just read
singer
this.
stunned. All right. And so there's a clip circulating on social media if you want to go check it out. Pink can be seen picking up a plastic bag containing the powdery gray ashes of a woman's cremated mother. Visibly shocked was Pink. She placed the bag behind the front of the stage speakers. We'll just leave that right over there for somebody else. And she continued performing just like a pill off her second studio album. The show must go on, so she just kept singing.
So
isn't that bizarre?
I mean, right.
What
when I read it, I was same reaction, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to put myself in this person's shoes,
Must be a
and what
Pink
if it's,
fan.
if this was their bond, was they loved the performer, and she vowed that she'd go see her in concert
I'll
someday.
do this, Mom.
But I don't know about like
wrong
chucking
with
the
you?
ashes up on the
what happens
stage.
if the bag broke and the ashes
Maybe
went everywhere?
I think that's what maybe they wanted.
Oh
I'm gonna throw
my
I'm gonna throw your ashes
God.
on Pink.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, something.
And how did Pink know it was ashes from a person? Could he have?
Maybe there was a
I don't know,
little
she
note
just-
on the bag.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
These are
Maybe.
my mom's ashes. I don't know.
That's how she would know.
Or
Signed
someone asked.
lady in the third row, second seat from the right. Like, I don't know.
There's no word on whether or not someone got arrested for doing that, or they got caught,
something.
or anything
Well.
like that. So, but that's just is bizarre.
Yeah, that's weird.
And from you got to be careful what you're doing. A janitor has ruined 20 years of research by turning off a lab freezer at a private research university in New York.
Oh.
At RPI.
Ooh.
Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, a huge school, very
Right.
prestigious
Outside
school,
Schenectady, right? Yeah.
filed a lawsuit against the janitor's contractor, Daigle Cleaning Systems, and is seeking $1 million in damages.
Oh
My God,
my
20 years worth of research? Oh.
Down the drain. Yes, officials say in September of 2020, the janitor heard annoying alarms and turned the freezer off in an attempt to be helpful. I'll just pull the plug here.
Oh
Well, that
my
stopped that.
gosh.
The next day, students found the freezer full of cell cultures and samples compromised and destroyed. The private university does not believe the janitor is at fault, but blames his contractor for failing to train and supervise him.
So you know what that means? That means
What?
that the end result of that research is that those things are sensitive to temperature.
Well, that's right. That's why they're in the freezer.
So
my gosh.
the study's done. We've come to the conclusion that
But
these
also,
are.
how is? I
temperature
mean, I'm
sensitive.
sure there's faulty equipment. Wasn't there a story like not just a few years ago, like 10 years ago, plus years ago, that there was a clinic out in California somewhere with a bunch of stored embryos that were like,
Yeah.
15, 20 years worth of embryos that people were holding
Holding
on
on
to for
to.
fertility, right? And
yeah,
that
that's
was
right.
all lost. And I
Yep.
remember there'd be. So I wonder what they're gonna say. I mean, these are studies, these are scientific studies, but is there some medical? What is the
y-
company here?
It doesn't
Because there
say.
could be more. There could be lawsuits coming along with it, or
Well,
is it
yeah.
just research?
I don't know.
I just think of the movie Airplane where the guy unplugs the lights off the runway. Goes,
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Plugs it back in.
Plug it right back in.
Johnny.
Johnny. Johnny, how about some coffee? No
my
thanks.
God.
No, thank you.
All right. I don't know if you watched it. I did. The College World Series just took place. LSU defeated
yeah.
Florida.
Just saw the highlights.
But
yeah.
LSU didn't just win the College World Series baseball title. It also won the Jell-O Shot Challenge.
What?
Well, good for them.
Fans who bought $5 Jell-O shots from Rocco's Pizza and Cantina, which is in Omaha, bar restaurant nearby the stadium, could designate which school hometown food shelves would get a $1 donation. Pretty nice. Last year, the total number of Jell-O shots sold was just over 32,000.
Oh my goodness.
In Jell-O shots.
This year, Jell-O shots for LSU alone were over 68,000. These
I have a
people-
new fundraising idea.
Great idea. I like that one.
Now this is it's a best of 7 series and it went 7 games. So I'm
True,
assuming
true,
this is over
true.
7
Give a little over
games.
seven, yeah.
The total
Holy
Jell-O shots for
cow.
all teams in the tournament 95,000,
Wow.
and $1 from each is going to the food shelves in the team's hometowns.
So $68,000 to food shelters in the.
Goes down to
Louisiana.
Louisiana,
Good. Yeah.
to Shreveport,
You know what?
wherever LSU is.
That's
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is a pretty good fundraising idea.
Sacrificing
Yeah.
your liver for.
And is that a good price?
Are Jell-O
Jell-O
shots
shots?
something you disclose to your physician upon annual physical? We were having
don't
this
ask.
conversation
They
earlier.
do not ask about Jell-O shots. They only ask about drinks.
It's a food.
It is. It's a.
It's a gelatin form food.
That's right. So next time I have a colonoscopy and they say you have to eat, you can only eat clear things in Jell-O. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm eating.
I was at a Jimmy Buffett show once out in the parking lot, walking around, and someone was handing out free Jell-O shots. Oh, okay. And I slurped it down and went, you made this with coconut, didn't you? Yeah, coconut vodka, isn't it great? Not when you don't like coconut.
And there lies the danger of just taking some free shots.
That's right, but thanks anyway. All right, an employee at a Taco Bell in Pasadena, Texas, is in custody after reportedly pulling a gun on a drive-through customer who canceled his order. Look,
You're going to take these tacos
and you're going to pay me $10 and that's that.
cheese burrito
my
right
God.
now.
Oh, wow. The police say the customer called 911 on Saturday evening at the Taco Bell. They were in the parking lot. And officials arrested 18-year-old Brian Carranza on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Police say Carranza smelled of alcohol when they picked him up. So he's drinking on the job, too.
Oh, there you go.
There's a good employee that you want down there at
It
the,
is
ta-
hot
the
in
Taco
Texas
Bell.
right now, so there's
Hot-
probably some crazy
hot
things
inside
going
the Taco Bell, too.
on. Ooh, I can only imagine. They don't have air conditioning like this.
But if you... No, I worked at Burger King.
Oh,
you
yeah.
worked at McDonald's.
I worked at McDonald's.
Did you have air conditioning? We did.
We probably had it in the customer area, but it never felt like it in the kitchen.
We had it in the kitchen. You could feel it just as soon as you walked in. Within 5 minutes after working, no more air conditioning.
Oh,
But
man.
anyway, so he cancels his order. So what?
Yeah.
It's not Brian. It's not coming out of your pocket.
Right.
Okay, call the manager, cancel the order, move on.
I don't know.
We're
Maybe
all
there's some
done.
sort of contest on how many cars you can run through the
Oh my
drive-up.
Well,
gosh.
you can't shoot.
You
pull your
really
gun
can't
on
put a gun on
people.
it. That is true. That's that whole anger management thing.
All right. Good story of the day, Melissa.
I like
I
it.
saved the good story of the day for you. No crying. Thanks to the Sarasota Police Department in Florida, a young cancer patient is living a dream come true. That's what Andrew Pickard's father, Michael, said yesterday after his 4-year-old son was made an honorary Sarasota Police Department police officer at 4.
love
That
those
is so cool. He got a swearing-in ceremony, got his own uniform, got a badge, no gun.
Oh, good.
Andrew and his family live in New Jersey, but they're spending time in Tampa Bay thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Ooh, it's terminal. That's
really?
sad. He was diagnosed with neuroblastoma over a year ago, and his dad says it's been really tough, but Andrew was a really brave kid. Sarasota's police chief tells the TV stations down there it was an honor to meet Andrew, and the whole day was just chicken soup for the heart.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Wow.
nice? That he
One
got
of
to be an
my,
honorary police officer?
One of my favorite things that a lot of colleges do now is they have partnerships with Team Impact. Have you heard of Team Impact?
No.
It's a great nonprofit organization. It'd be great for you guys to look into this. Jeez, that door was.
Someone slams the door quick hard sometimes.
I'm glad nothing worse came out of my mouth.
I looked in the window going, oops. Sorry.
Whew. So look up
Anyway.
Team Impact, but more or less they basically recruit these kids with terminal illnesses onto sports teams, mostly D1 schools, D2 schools. I know that my husband's worked at 3 schools and had partnerships with them. And so like it might be the football team and they bring in this kid as a recruit and they basically adopt them for the season. And then
Oh,
they
that's
end up
so
usually being
cool.
with them for multiple seasons, to be
Yeah.
honest. But they just feel like,
Part of the team.
yeah, and it's just the bond that they have with the team, but just like an extension of family, but they're treated like gold. And they travel with them sometimes and they're given all the gear. And it's just, it's like a dream come true for the families too, because it's just that extra support and,
Yeah.
and awareness of their condition, because usually it's some rare condition that is being highlighted. But look into it. It's a really neat cause.
That's cool.
Similar, kind of like an extension of like Make-A-Wish, but
Yeah.
on a sports level.
I've seen them with kids, mostly on, I think it's high schools. They have special needs, and the game is like 75-3, and with 8 seconds to go.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they hand the ball off to that kid who's gotten to a game, and the opposing team that's losing
Right.
know to just make
Get out of the way.
make a hole,
Right.
make it out of the way, and the kid runs up the field and scores a touchdown. And
Yeah.
it's a
Those are
real
great
feel good
moments.
moment kind of thing.
Yep.
When you mentioned about colleges, when my son graduated college, one of the graduates was blind, so he was there with a seeing eye dog, and they made a hat and a mortarboard for the dog. That was
classic.
cute.
Very cool.
Very good.
Very cool.
He got
Absolutely.
a lot of congratulations to
The
the dog
dog.
who also graduated that day. All right, that does it for the day for coffee and for the day for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Joe, and enjoy the God-given day,
Very
everybody.
good. And Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
Watch out for that door, okay?
I know.
Don't let it get you next time. This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do your remembers at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. A short circuit is believed to have been the contributing factor to the incident